Not only have you just made a great decision, but you are also in great company because you are now tuned into the show where you learn to define and achieve success. You're going to learn how to become someone other people know, like, and trust, how to have influence and power in a way that's sustainable and positive to your life. This show acts as a different angle, guidance for you in your life, and is meant to put you in a position to win. So if I'm speaking your language, if that sounds good to you, stay tuned and stick around. Hello, and welcome to the Sprouting Success Podcast. My name is Remy Ellis. I'm your host today and every day. It's great to have you here. Today's topic is why your relationships suck. Yes, why your relationships suck. Now you might be thinking to yourself, I don't need to hear this. My life is great. My relationships are great. Before you get offended and stop listening, I want to make it very clear that today we'll be speaking about all the ways that people hurt and undermine their relationships. This could be your friendships, professional relationships, the relationships you have with your family, business relationships, and of course, intimate and romantic relationships. You could be doing this subconsciously, but in the end, all these different types of relationships are a reflection of you in some way. I want to explore that. I want to walk through some of the ways in which we, either knowingly or unknowingly, undermine and negatively impact the people in our lives. We're going to go through some of the key indications, some of the red flags that other people might be waving in our faces that let us know maybe it's time to move on. This isn't meant to call anybody out. However, if you feel called out by the things I say today, maybe you need to hear it more than anyone else. This isn't an indictment. I'm urging you to use what you hear today to check yourself, make sure you're bringing value to the table in your relationships, and make sure you're someone that other people want to be around, right? Going back to the intro of this show, I want you to be someone other people know, like, and trust. All that said, let's get into it. Once again, today's topic, why your relationships suck. Point number one, one-way streets. What does that mean? That means that movement, energy, effort is flowing in one direction, from one end to the other. Think about when you're driving a car on a one-way street. There's no traffic. There's nothing coming towards you. You can't turn around on a one-way street. There's nothing going the other way. And you have to go until the end of the street. In relationships, this looks like one person that's giving effort, reaching out, trying to make plans, coming through for the other person, while from the other end, there's nothing. There's no effort, radio silence, no movement. Maybe you can think of a few one-way street type relationships in your own life. Either individuals that you constantly reach out to try to make an effort to see, talk to, show love to, make proud of, or on the other side, maybe people are trying to reach out, connect with you, and for whatever reason, you aren't reciprocating that energy and that effort. Reciprocity is a key term for this topic and point number one in particular. It basically means exchanging with other people for mutual benefit. And right now, with a one-way street, one side is not reciprocating. I've definitely had these types of one-way relationships in my life. It's incredibly frustrating to have to deal with these types of people because you just feel like you're giving all this effort and you're not getting any. What it looked like for me was people would either hit me up or want to spend time with me for their own benefit, not for the mutual benefit of the friendship or relationship itself. So these people reach out only when it's convenient for them, only when they need something, or when they want to get something off their chest, when they need someone to vent to or a sounding board to speak to. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for being supportive for the people that I care about. And if you know me, you know that I'll listen to you. I'll hear you out. I'll try to find out what it is that I can help you with and, either suggest a solution or just listen. I've said on the show often that a lot of the times when someone is sharing a problem with you, most of the time they don't need an answer. They don't need you to solve their problem. What they need is to hear themselves talk out loud and say the problem. Oftentimes just that makes them feel a little bit better. But anyway, I pride myself on being a good listener. But with a one-way streeter, there's really no point. Because when you're together with a one-way streeter, all they want to talk about is themselves, their problems, things they're going through in their lives, their feelings. Again, every now and then, to vent to your friends and family, it's a really good thing. It's natural. It's really healthy for a relationship. But I'm talking about habitual offenders that bring a dark rain cloud with them everywhere they go. That's the kind of one-way streeter we're talking about. The person that leaves you feeling drained at the end of the interaction. When you go your own separate ways, you're thinking, damn, I feel brought down. My energy, my vibrations, my frequency, just feel like I got sapped. My positivity's down. Don't be that person. If you're guilty of this one-way streetedness, acknowledge that Say I've been a bad friend, I've been a bad colleague, a bad boyfriend, a bad sister, I've been selfish, and right that wrong. The way to fix a one-way street relationship, if it's worth it, remember, is to make space for the other person to drive on the road. So reciprocate the time and the attention and the energy that someone gives you. And if you're on the other side of the one-way relationship, of the one-way street, where the person is just so fixated on themselves and you feel like they're only using you to make themselves feel better, voice that concern. And if they don't make space for you to exist and they don't make an effort to make a one-way street a two-way street, well, I think it might be time to walk away, or at least think about walking away. The thing with one-way streets is they all come to an end. So make people feel heard and understood. And if you've been one-way streeting people, stop. Conversely, if you feel like you aren't being heard and understood in your relationships, voice that feeling and see how they react. If the other person gets angry or defensive with you when you share your emotions, then is that someone you really want to be around anyway? I don't really think so. Point number 2, once again, today's topic: why your relationships suck. You make other people feel responsible for your mood. I'll say that again. You make other people feel responsible for your mood. Now, this is way different than voicing a concern or telling someone how you feel. This is actively offloading your responsibility to be accountable for your own feelings and your own emotions and putting that responsibility on somebody else. There's no better way to destroy your relationship. Remember, all kinds. We're talking business, friends, family, romantic relationships. There's no better way to destroy those than to make another person feel responsible for your mood. That's ridiculous. It just sounds ridiculous. Another person doesn't control your emotions and your mood. Only you can do that. What's really happening is you're choosing to feel a certain type of way based on an exterior force maybe, and you're blaming somebody else for your poor management of your own emotions. If this is you, I urge you to get your emotional management up. This probably happens the most in intimate and romantic relationships because these two people are connected very deeply on an emotional level, hopefully. And one side or both sides start to make each other feel responsible for the other's emotions. It happens every day, and I'm sure that you and everybody listening has either fallen victim to this or maybe subjected another person to it. But when you think about it, relationships don't grow through resentment and blame, putting responsibility on other people. They grow through accountability, respect, trust. So take accountability for your own emotions and your own mood. Never put that on somebody else. They have every right to walk away if you do. Point number 3, today's topic: why your relationships suck. Point number 3 is you don't know yourself. Yes, you don't know yourself. We talk about success. The name of this show is Sprouting Success. And one of the most common challenges I see people facing every day is that they don't know themselves. So they don't know who they are and why they're that way. They don't understand themselves and their needs, fears, insecurities. In episode 10 of this show, we talked about how self-awareness is priceless and that without proper self-knowledge, you will not and cannot succeed. With a proper understanding and awareness of who you are as a person, it's going to be easier for you to make decisions based on whether or not something serves your purpose and your fulfillment or not. Solid and proper self-awareness keeps you from losing yourself in a relationship and in life. When you know what you're feeling, and even more importantly, why you're feeling that way, you can navigate those situations much more cleanly and efficiently. If you don't know yourself, I'm afraid none of your relationships will really ever reach their full potential, which makes today's topic even more important. Let's call it there and recap today's topic, which is why your relationships suck. Point number 1, one-way streets. What does this mean? Energy, movement, effort is flowing one way and not both ways. So people are reaching out to you, trying to make an effort, or you're reaching out to people trying to make an effort. And for whatever reason, it's not being reciprocated. Things are being done for self-benefit and not mutual benefit. You're guilty of this one-way streetedness. Acknowledge that and deal with it. If not, if there's some people that are one-way streeting you, voice that feeling. See how they react. If they get angry and defensive, I think that's your proof right there. Point number 2, you make other people feel responsible for your mood. There's no greater destroyer of a relationship than me making somebody else feel responsible for my mood. That's just ridiculous. I control my feelings, my mood, not anybody else. And point number 3, you don't know yourself. How could you be solid in a relationship if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your needs, who you are as a person, and why you're that way? How could you effectively deal with other people, communicate, and be in positive relationships? You just can't. So I hope this topic was helpful and insightful. Make sure you check yourself against these. Check your relationships against these as well. I've been Remy Ellis. I'll see you next time. Thanks again for tuning into the Sprouting Success podcast. Take care.